Hello everyone, welcome back to what is the very last episode of Queen's Park for Life for the year. I am your host, Glenn Marshall. I've brought in head coach Patrick Murphy for a bit of a season review. How you doing, mate?
Good, mate. Good.
Probably better than me.
Yeah, say so, yeah.
Look, we'll start things off. How would you rate the season overall? A figure out of 10, let's say.
I'm always a big critic, so I'll go 6.5, 7.
Yeah. Maybe a wee bit harsh on yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've finished in 5th with Queenstown defaulting to Northern Hearts for some reason. Don't know why you'd default that game, but yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, 5th place. You got to be happy with that, I would have thought. Yeah,
delighted with 5th. I think the only, let's say, what brings a mark down, the only sort of frustration is that if we'd have just started just a little bit better, then who knows what you could have achieved or what we could have achieved. But yeah, like 5th place, we get 24 points in the end.
Yeah.
That's way more than anybody could have expected. So no, we've had a great season, really. I think the boys. So once we got used to the pace of the league, we've said it before, that it's a huge step up. You don't actually realise how big the step up is until you're sort of in it. And once we got used to that, once we got a win under our belts and a bit of confidence, then we were flying really second half of the season.
Well, we went from 1 win in 8 to 7 wins in 10, didn't we? So that's remarkable turnaround, really.
Massive, and played really well as well in the vast majority of those games. Played really well in the vast majority of games all season, really. There were probably 2 or 3 where we let ourselves down, but over 18 games, brand new to the league.
The first half of the season was probably, we were good in patches, weren't we, but not consistently for a whole game.
I think the thing what we didn't take our chances in those games, and then we'd make a mistake and they would take their chances. Like if you look at the Mosgiel game, for example, we're 2-0 up. That was the one that's probably hurts the most. We're 2-0 up, totally cruising, totally in control. We probably missed 8, 9 golden opportunities in the first half, and then we make 2 mistakes. 2-all, the momentum swings, it's all with them. Before you know it, you're 4-2 down. They've had 4 chances in the whole game. We've had 24, you know.
And it was 2-0 after about 55 minutes.
I think just early in the second half, David put us 2-0 up, and like that's what we learnt though. Like later on in the season when we got a goal up or we got 2 goals up, we just learnt to settle down, not panic, don't go chasing the next goal, dig in for 5 and then go again and build from that again. And harsh lessons to learn early on in the season. And that comes with having a young squad as well. But they did learn them in the second half of the season. They were absolutely phenomenal, really. I mean, you look at some of the results.
The only team to knock over the Royals.
Yeah, and I mean, that day...
That's probably the biggest win this club's had.
At least the last 20 years from what I'm told.
Sure.
Yeah, I think... It's funny, really, because when you speak to people... They're sort of split in half, and Royals must have had COVID and must have had this and must have had that, and other half said, great result for Park. What people don't realise is, until you actually tell them, is we had 5 first teamers out that day. We had 5 starters out that day. So no matter how many the Royals, no matter what state the Royals were in, whatever they want to say, 5 for us is worth 10 for them. They're 2 of the biggest clubs combined, The top of the league, they're flying. And for us to go there, I think that win put us on 12 points. So we'd only had 3 wins prior to that against Green Island and Uni were the bottom, and Northern Hearts, were the bottom 3 teams along with us at the time.
Yeah.
It was massive. And like Anton coming in, he barely played all season, scored 2 goals. Liam McClure had barely played all season, was the best player on the pitch by an absolute mile. Rio had gone into sweeper and we'd changed formation because we had to do, because of personnel that were missing. Rio was phenomenal at sweeper. Pearson, brilliant in goal, although he didn't have much to do, but everything that he did, his hands, safe hands, good distribution. Connor Evans stepped up, putting a performance of a South Island League player.
Just on Pearson, to be fair, he played every minute, didn't he?
Every minute of every game.
I think that was probably paying more than Leicester to win the Premier League title a few years ago for him to play every minute. Not only the fact he's 41, but he's always a chance of a red.
I was just going to say that you'd have fancied him for a red, but he's been mostly, barring the odd mistake, but all goalkeepers make mistakes. They just get highlighted because the ball ends up in the back of the net. But he's been brilliant as well. Like the Northern home game after we went down to 10 men, that could have got really embarrassing, but he was unbelievable that day. And a couple of other games as well. And no, I think Chris can be very proud of his season. He's done really well.
Standout performers in the team?
Standout performers. Rio's always massively consistent as captain. Liam, obviously, we only won one game. Well, to be fair, Liam and Connor are in the same boat. We only won one game when they didn't play.
Yeah, right.
And they both missed a fair chunk of the season. Connor went back to Dunedin for a month or whatever it was. And Liam, obviously, we only had for the second half of the season. David played really, really well, top scorer. Caelan Castle played in 6 or 7 different positions this season and brilliant in every single one.
I was going to say excelled at all of them.
Yeah. Spencer stepping up to the mark. I think guys as well that were on the fringes, like for instance, like Mike Larson came in for a couple of games and did really well. Seb came in a bit later on and did well in more in patches, but again a young player coming in and making his mark. His time will come for more consistency. Ben, another one, came in, did a really good job.
Did he play? I think he played against the Royals in that one.
He did. Played as a wing back, played really well. And guys like Teamer, who's always adds energy when he comes on and never sulks when he goes to play Donald Gray, and then ask him to come back on the bench because we're short. Like the Royals again, he came on with 20 minutes to go when we'd just gone 2-1 down, I think, and just added real energy to a performance. That it was a hot day as well, and they keep the ball really well, to be fair. And even though they didn't create much, they just had us on the back foot, and we brought Teamer on and he got us up the pitch again, provided some energy, which is what you want substitutes to do. And yeah, guys like that. And it's hard to pick out standout performance, but it's been such a team effort. We don't really have, we've got good individual players, but we don't have anybody where you're going to go, well, if we don't have him today, we're not going to win. It has to, it's a full team effort. So yeah, I think everybody's contributed in their own way.
Corey and Cam actually played a game together, didn't they?
Yeah, Mosgiel.
Dad and son?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine there would be too many father-son combos in the Southern League.
I wouldn't have thought so.
It's quite an achievement in itself.
Yeah, I think it is a massive achievement, and I think Dad was saying son should have set him up for one. I think he chose to give it to Caleb instead for his hat-trick, but...
Good option.
Yeah, not a bad option, eh? But yeah, and again, that's just little stories to the season. Like, Corey hadn't played Donald Gray at all in the last 2 years and jumped up from Div 1, and he actually started a game at Roslin. He had to do because Liam got injured, pulled out during the warm-up. Again, Chris, you look at Chris has been playing Div 1 the last 2, 3, 5 years, and not always as a goalkeeper either.
Yeah.
So then for him to step up, that's how big an achievement it's been. Someone like Arju jumped from Div 1 to play Southern League at the start of the season when we had injuries and never let us down. So again, just loads of little stories like that, and guys that have really stepped up and just given us everything that they could, really. And that's been the story of the season. The whole club's just given us everything.
Are there certain things you have already seen that you'd like to improve on for next year?
I think we learned that all these teams are beatable. I think that were another thing early on in the season. I think we gave teams a bit too much respect and play with a little bit of fear. I think now we know that they're all beatable. I think there's not a blueprint to beat any one side. So like in Donald Gray, you can have, like when we've won the league the last 2 years, we've played the same formation every week.
Yeah.
We've played the same way, we use the same tactics. You have to adapt in this league. Like for instance, when you play at Queenstown, they want to dominate the ball. They want the ball all the time. Well, we said to them, both games, you can have it. But when we get it, we're going to hurt you, or we've got to try and hurt you. And we did in both games. Roslin, the other way, they're going to play back to front really quick and try and get bodies around you, so you've got to be up for that. Northern Hearts are a sort of team that are just going to sort of fight and get stuck in and be up for it, and you've got to deal with and adapt to that. So
it's very much a horses for courses league.
Yeah, there's all different.
Every sort of club has a different mentality.
And they change their formations weekly, and Northern are fantastic without the ball. They lose the ball, they get into shape straight away. It's unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen a team at amateur level as good as them at that. Like, they're so well drilled. So that's another problem that we never found a way to answer that this season. They beat us
3 times.
Convincingly 3 times, I think. They're probably the only team that we never laid a glove on all season. We never looked like we were going to get anything out of the 3 games. At home in the league we did all right, but we didn't really create anything. The away game in the league, again, another game where we made a bad mistake and went 1-0 down, but never looked like getting back into it. And the Chatham Cup game, they were just better than us in all 3 games. So that is a problem that we're going to have to solve, and it's one that I look forward to trying to solve. That's my job. That's what we do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what we do. And I think every other team we did get a good grasp of. I think Wanaka actually changed as the season went on from being a team a bit like Queenstown who wanted to dominate the ball to actually getting it forward to a big man and playing off him. So yeah, again, like I say, all different styles. Every team wants to spring a surprise on you. Us being new to the league, I think I'd like to say we surprised a few, but we didn't win it for 5 weeks, so I don't think we did.
I think some of the players, sort of X factor that we had, surprised a few teams. I'm not sure they expected guys like Davey.
I was just going to say, I think early season, I know the Northern coach were very impressed with David and Liam McClure, obviously. I think they definitely took a few by surprise. I don't think anybody were expecting that from an Invercargill side. I think when you look at, I think you've got to compare us and Northern Hearts. Northern Hearts have got an X Factor striker, but he's a striker that's going to score goals. That's what he is. They need to get service to him. Whereas we've got sort of 2 or 3 that go and create and to all phases of play. I think they were expecting basically us and Northern Hearts to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Whereas when we turned up and had a David, everybody was like, oh, hang on. We've got something to think about here. He's not just going to stand up front and score however many goals. He's going to come back and he's going to dribble and he's going to create. And I do think that took teams by surprise. And I think having a guy like Rio who's just so calm in midfield as well, he don't get the plaudits every week, and he probably didn't hit the heights that he would have expected of himself the first half of the season, but he's just so calm. And even if he's not having a good game, he'll make the guy next to him have a good game because he'll do the running, he'll cover for him.
He doesn't get himself down on mistakes.
And if he's having a bad game, he goes back to basics and he plays 5-yard passes, and he just keeps the ball moving. When he's having a good game, he pings it all around the pitch, and just a top player. Top player. And you look at someone like Spencer Cunliffe as well, who we didn't mention before. If there's a better 18-year-old defender in the league, then I'm yet to see him. Like, so fast, so good on the recovery, but probably doesn't get enough credit for how good he is actually one-on-one defending. It's all right being a recovery defender, but so often he makes a block tackle before he's even had to recover.
And really good at recycling the ball.
Oh, he's a fantastic footballer. And to be fair, he probably needs to believe in himself a little bit more. I don't think he's scored a senior goal for his side in Div 1, but that don't count. Not for him, it don't count. So for him, he probably needs to add 2 or 3 goals a season to his game because he can.
Yeah, he's more than capable, isn't he?
Oh, definitely.
Is there one result that you sort of put above all others for the season? There was a few good away trips.
There was some really good away trips. I think for me, I look at the Green Island with the first win, so that'll always be special. The 2 wins over Queenstown, that's basically our derby in this league, for us, that's special to beat them twice. Last time we faced them was in Donald Gray, and they wiped the floor with us up there. We beat them at home out at O'Rourke, I think, in 1 game, but in the other 3 in the 2 years that we're here, we never
Didn't
got
get close.
Nah, we never even looked like beating them. So for us to do that was massive. But the Royals is the standout one. Like, that's the one. And as I say, people can say what they want. I don't care, because you can't take that away from us. And I don't care what anybody says. We had no right to go there and beat them that day.
And we avoided a bus trip of COVID on the way home.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Okay, well, we'll move on to other grades. So the Donald Gray team finished second overall. 2 1-goal losses to Thistle was the difference in the season. So it's a respectable season at the end of the day, isn't it? Hard to sort of be too harsh on the guys. A reserve team that's got guys coming in and out every week. I don't think we ever put the same 11 out.
No, you
not even close.
Yeah, I think Donald Gray side did everything that could have been asked of them. I think if anybody thought they were just going to go out and win the league, we're probably a bit deluded. Again, like the SPL, it's the first time we've had this challenge in Donald Gray. It's the first time we've had a reserve side playing Donald Gray since '96. Yeah. So that were a learning experience as well. Once we get to a stage where we've got 18, 20 SPL players that you're saying these 18, 20 are going to play SPL every week. If they're sub, it doesn't matter, but they're SPL players. Because you're always going to have 3 or 4.
In the last 3 games.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We won't get into that though.
Yeah, that's a debate for another day. But until we get to that stage where we can actually say, right, these are SPL players, they're probably not going to play Donald Gray. And then you go, right, everybody else, Donald Gray, you take your pick from. And you've probably got 20 players there as well. Until we get to that stage, it's going to be a struggle in Donald Gray to get players out onto the pitch. Because like this season, we probably had 14 SPL players that just played SPL, and then everybody else went between the 2 squads.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, the last 3 games, you've got that problem issue. You've got the issue of players being injured in SPL that can't play Donald Gray because they're injured, or being sick, they're missing SPL, COVID or sickness or whatever. So they can't go and play Donald Gray anyway.
Yeah.
So you've not got that. That's the one thing that we do need to improve on now, and big job for myself and whoever else involved over the summer is to get that depth, to really have a big squad that's capable of challenging in both divisions. And I think next year we've got a better chance of winning the Donald Gray than what we had this year, in hindsight now. And I think as well that they took the Donald Gray title down to Thistle. Thistle's last game, they had to beat us to win it. And they did. Fair play to them.
Yeah.
But for us, that's an achievement in itself as well. And then even on that game, we had injuries, sickness, illness, and 3 pull out on the morning of the game. Like, again, when you're against these restrictions where you can't have your 3 Prem players or whatever in those 3 games, then, and you get that on top.
Really, aren't they?
Yeah, and you get that on top, there's just nothing you can do. And the lads, they went out and fought and they put up a fight and they never gave up. And as far as I can see, they've not given up all season. And
a shout out to a lot of the older guys too that stepped up. Dion, Virgie, Matty Hazard.
Yeah.
Without guys like that, I guess it would be even harder, wouldn't it?
But again, as I said about the SPL team, Dion's been playing Div 1 for the last 2-3 years. Virgie's barely played any football in the last 2-3 years because he was coaching and he's picked up a few injuries, and then he was sort of in and out last season with injuries and one thing and another, and on the bench then on the bench again, and just not played much at all. And then for him to complete a full season, Dion to complete a full season, Rushy probably a bit different. He's been playing Donald Gray the whole time. Played SPL early on in the season, probably a bit easier for him.
Cootsy filling in.
Cootsy has only played Div 1 the last 3 years, barring the odd sub appearance or whatever for Donald Gray. So has been playing Div 2 last year. So again, it's a huge step up for these guys. Conrad Ward's another one who played. He didn't play much second half of the season, but early on he played Donald Gray. Only been playing Div 1 since he came to the club. Mike Larson was playing Div 1 at Thistle last year. So for these guys to step up, Mike Larson should have been playing Donald Gray for Thistle, by the way. But for these guys to step up and do that job and get to that last game, I think it's a massive achievement. And I think, again, word that I keep using is just pride and being very proud of what they did achieve. I know it hurts not winning it and coming second, but look at how close we did come and the building blocks that are in place for the future.
And if the first half of the season was counted, we did actually acquire enough points to win.
Is that right, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. But that's obviously not, it's not how the season worked.
No, it's not how the season worked. Yeah, again, that's a discussion for another day. But
and finished on a high 9-3 win over the Southland team yesterday.
Yeah, I think,
In terrible conditions.
I was just about to say that, actually. The weather killed it, really.
It was a 3-goal win, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was, yeah.
Liam Martin picked up 4 and stole the golden boot.
Yeah, delighted for Marty as well, because, as I said after the game, he probably should have won it last year, and then Anton grabbed the hat-trick in the last game of the season that took it away from him, so... and there's no shame in finishing second to Anton when it comes to scoring goals, but he... again, he's another one, he started in the SPL, dropped down just fitness, Northern Arts away, he got kicked to bits, and he picked up an ankle injury he just never really got over, and then he got COVID and whatever, and then he dropped down to Donald Gray, and then he got sick again and injured again. That ankle kept playing up, so he never got back into the SPL and only ended up playing 3 or 4 games in Donald Gray, I think. So yeah, again, massive achievement for him, and he's another one that we'll be looking to kick. I spoke to him yesterday about it, and he agrees. Like, he's too good to be playing Donald Gray. Like, he's actually too good for the level. He should be playing SPL, and we just need to get him and keep him fit next season. And I can see him having a big year next year.
The women.
No, they're just
What do you say about them? 14 from 14.
just sensational, aren't they?
Won every game. Plus pre-season.
Is that won every game for the last 2 years?
Yeah.
And lost 1 in 3 years, is it, or something?
Yeah. They've dropped points once in 3 years.
Yeah, they got beat by Thistle for the Otley 1 year, didn't they?
Yep. Tyler Andrews, golden boot, 24 goals I think she scored.
Yeah, again, like they're just a machine, aren't they? Like, and to be fair to Liam, she's had to rebuild that squad. She was left with barely any players from last season. She lose 8 players, I think.
Yeah, it was 7 or 8.
It's a phenomenal turnover.
Rebecca came back halfway through, didn't she?
Yeah, that's true, and that was big as well. Like, Rebecca adds a lot of pace to the team, but now they're a good side. I don't get to see, obviously, too much of them with the travel into Dunedin and what have you. But the little bit that I've seen of them at the back end of the season, they are the best team in that league. And I've got to say the Old Boys got some good young players. They'll be a threat for the next couple of years.
I think Old Boys were the biggest competitor.
Yeah, they were.
They did end up finishing second in the league.
Yeah, I think they've got some good kids
and credit to them, to be fair, because they've had the tough years. Couple of tough years, with just trying to build a team. It's hard to go from no team at all to winners straight away. That's not really how it works. Our girls went through the period of building.
Exactly. And look, you can set rivalries to one side and show respect. Like, they're a proper football club. They understand that if you are going through tough times, you work hard. Good things could be just around the corner, and we obviously know Fozzie really well, and he's done a tremendous job really in putting that squad together, because they, like you say, they started from nothing, didn't they? 3-4 years ago they came back into the Women's League,
3
and
years, I think.
They've finished bottom, they've scrapped around, they've had a few hidings, but they've kept at it, and
they've got some really good young players.
Some really, really good young players, yeah. I think they'll be our closest challengers for the next few years. I don't know the ages of the girls in our squad or what the plans are next year. Hopefully Leanne can keep that squad together as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure. And
add even more silverware. The girl Tyler's, she's a top player. Aisling coming back, I think that was massive as well.
Yeah, that was a big boost.
Yeah, she makes a huge difference. She's just so strong, and not many girls are good in the air. Aisling actually is. She doesn't mind heading the ball.
She actually wants to hit it. Yeah. Start, isn't it?
And she doesn't just head it into an area. She actually tries to find feet when she heads the ball. So, some top players in that side. They're good to watch, and they're great to have around the club when they're putting all these trophies on the table. And And I do think that their success, because they found success before the men did, I do think that it was the spark that we all needed to just to bring it in and start to build. And you're sort of looking at them going, we need a bit of that. You know?
Men need to start doing something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like can't have your flagship flagship team finishing 4th. It's not on.
Yeah, so no, a wonderful season by them, and I do think Leanne's trying to push for another team. So obviously, if anyone's interested in playing, be sure to get in touch through the club email or messaging Leanne.
Yeah, well, that'd be great as well, wouldn't it, if we could get 2 women's teams back?
Yeah, we have had it before. It'd be good to get another one back, wouldn't it?
Yeah, really good.
Division 1, probably the club's biggest underachievers of what they could have been capable of to where they ended up.
Yeah, shame really, because they did really well in the first half of the season, didn't they? I think did they finish 2nd or 3rd in the first half, and then. Yeah,
I think they were behind Gore and Winton.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Winton pipped them on the last game, and then. But yeah,
and then one draw out of the last 6 games was a bit disappointing, wasn't it?
It's not good enough, really, is it? But yeah, again, I don't get to see too much of it, but I'd expect them to do better than that. Yeah.
We probably the team we're going to have to look into the most, just about in terms of restructuring.
I think again it's recruitment and it's numbers and it's depth. I think the more we have depth at SPL, at Donald Gray, Div 1 benefit from it. Everybody benefits from it. Div 2 benefit from it. So, but yeah, we definitely need to look. We're under no illusions. We need more coaches. We need more managers. We need more assistant coaches, more staff. We need more of everything. We need more on the committee. If we can get more on the committee, we need more junior coaches, more, like I say, we just need more everything. And that is, I think the Div 1 failings this season have probably laid that bare a little bit. The fact that we just didn't have the depth to sustain 3 teams. The example that I always use is if you look at the Royals, they're obviously a level above us, competing in South Island League, won the Southern League, and I think they finished second in Fletcher Cup. Yeah. That's where we've got to be. We've got to be.
Shows real strength, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've got to be competing in the SPL. We've got to be competing to win Donald Gray and competing to win Div 1. Otherwise, we're failing the members that are lower down the chain. It's okay competing there, but then if we're not competing behind it, if we're not competing behind it, then we've got no depth for those top teams either.
Yeah.
So that's what we've got to look at. We've got to get that depth across 3 teams, or maybe spend a couple of years getting that depth across 2 teams. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work yet, and we really need to get.
It's hard to make that happen quickly.
You're not going to make it happen quickly. I think the simple fact is we've got about 3 years, I think, before Dion's team comes through.
Right. Yeah, 3 or 4.
Some of them will be 3 and some will be 4. I think. That's where the depth is for men's football in this club. There's, I don't know, 10, 15 kids there that are going to be good footballers, or look like they're going to be good football. You can never tell until they actually get to senior football age, but until they come through, we are going to tread water a little bit because
we don't have anything in a grade higher than that.
Unfortunately, no.
We do, however, have teams, a lot of youth below that.
Once they come through, we've got a real conveyor belt, and again, like I do get to watch juniors and go see them, and like some real talent in all four grades below Dion's. Just some fantastic players.
The girls' teams as well. There's some ballers in there.
They've got another women's team coming through, like they've got another Colt Cup team coming through, and that's why I'm saying hopefully she can keep this squad together for another year or 2, and then you've got all these kids coming through, and even if we end up with 2 teams, even if only 4 of them end up in the top team, you've got a strong second team as well. Women's football in this club, I doubt it's ever been as healthy as what it is at the moment, as what it's been in this last 3 or 4 years. Like, they've been unbelievable. Leanne's been a huge part of that as well, not only as a coach, she was captain before that and manager for Matty, and like
No,
That's sometimes
she's put a lot of effort in.
Sometimes just what it needs though is just somebody with a bit of drive. That's what I say to people. Like, you don't have to be particularly good. You just have to have a bit of energy and a bit of drive, and we'll find a role for you. And you know, Leanne is good. I'm not saying Leanne's not good, but energy and passion can go a long, long way. I mean, like for anybody that's thinking about a role, or any parents out there, like.
Yeah, please come along to that.
Yeah, like look at Warren for instance. Warren's never been involved in a football club before, but he's been priceless for us in the last 40 my time as head coach. You know, it is just a bit of energy, and sometimes, like on a committee, for example, just fresh face can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Let's say as a manager or anything.
Yeah, well, that's probably all we really need to go over. Thanks for the time and effort you've put in this year, mate. I know it was an especially tough year for you, getting sick halfway through.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Obviously, big thanks to Corey for taking over while you're...
Yeah, massive. And I think not just Corey and Matty stepped in, and did an amazing job as well. Got a couple of wins, but not just that. Like the committee, I think as well deserve a lot of praise for this year. The money raised, the work put in, everything. And again, like if anybody's thinking about putting their hand up, we need more sponsors next year to get us on a level playing field with some of these other teams. Like Corey tells a good story. When Queenstown came down, the coach came up to Corey and said, our physio hasn't been able to travel, can we borrow yours? Corey says, what? We don't have a physio.
Yeah,
like,
physio.
Our budget doesn't stretch to that. We're the only team in the league that doesn't have one, so we need new kits, we need everything. And like Mitch does an unbelievable job as treasurer. And he's right, he'll give us the money. If he's got the money, he'll give us it and he'll spend it. But when he hasn't, he can't. Well, and rightly so as well. Yeah, we can't get into debt. We can't allow this team to get into debt. And we can't allow this team to bring debt onto the club.
Yeah,
this team's got to fund itself. There's got to be, or hopefully there'll be a little bit left over that goes into the club as well at the end of the season, and maybe buy something for juniors or whatever. But first and foremost, it's got to be self-sufficient, and it has been this season, which has been magnificent. So big thanks to all the sponsors. Big thanks to all the work that's gone into that from everybody. Rat in particular actually has been instrumental about that. I can't forget to mention him. But yeah, if I say it's just getting to a level playing field with everybody else. That's where we've got to get to, and then once we get there, then we can look at pushing on and seeing where we can get to after that.
Yeah. So there's one game to go. Prize giving next Saturday, the 10th of September, or this Saturday, I suppose, when this comes out. Yeah. What are your odds here, mate? Over 30s versus under 30s?
I think they gave us a bit of a hiding 2 years ago. We didn't play last year, did we, because of COVID? So 2 years ago, yeah, I think they gave us a bit of a hiding, didn't they? But we gave them a hiding the year before, so you never know.
One of the big issues we have is that we only have one player over 30 and also under 40. That's Rio.
Yeah, Rio's in for a busy day. I think it's his debut for the overs this year.
He's got a big shift to put in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll be.
And apart from Chris, the rest of the SPL team are all under 30, which is a problem.
Yeah, so it's a big ask for us. And I think we've only got 4 girls over 30 as well. So yeah, it's a big ask, but look, we'll give them a game and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think they're paying $1.10 at the moment.
Yeah, I've been informed Leanne's spoken to the council. There'll be no mowing of the lawns this week.
No.
And hopefully a wee bit of hail and a gusty wind on Saturday.
A big gusty wind would be nice, yeah. So we've only got to work hard for 45 minutes. That'd be real good.
Yeah, so that game will be kicking off at 2:45 at our club, obviously. And prize giving, the doors open at 6:30, I believe.
Yeah.
Kicking off at 7:30, I think.
Yeah, I think she's invited all the sponsors and stuff down as well. It should be a good night.
I hope so, yeah.
It should be a really good night. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, no, hey, cheers for coming in again, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure.
Cheers, Glenn.
Congratulations on the season. Yeah, look, last episode, but keep an eye out. There'll be more videos coming to this YouTube channel, that I can guarantee. What they'll be, I have no idea. Football related or not, we'll see. So yeah, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for all your feedback I've gotten this year. It's been interesting. Definitely, and a bit of fun involved as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, we'll see you all at prize giving. Queen's Park for life. See you later. Have a good one. Yeah, fuck it, that'll do.